Sound design is one of the most important parts of any video, and I've covered it a lot on this channel, but for this video, I wanted to specifically focus on sound effects because while there are a ton of places where you can get really high quality sound effects from, they don't always have exactly what you need to make your video sound as good as you want. So today we're going to look at some of the things that you can do with stock sound effects that will help you get your video sounding perfect. Let's get started. First up on our list is to change the pitch of your sound effects. This is something that a lot of people overlook, but it really does make a huge difference. To understand why, though, we need to step back and look at the science of sound. See, every sound that you hear, no matter what it is, has a pitch or note, even the things you might not think about, like a punch or one of those whooshes that you hear in Lippman transitions. And just like when you're listening to a beginner try to figure out the piano for the first time, when you hear two notes that don't sound good together, it can be very jarring to the ear. This can be very problematic when it comes to video because what we're hearing can take us out of the experience of a video much faster than what we're seeing. So if you think you found the perfect sound effect for your video, but it sounds a bit off when you drop it into your timeline, try adjusting the pitch until it sounds right. This really does take a trained ear to get it perfect, but a good rule of thumb is just go until you no longer feel like punching a baby when you hear it. Next up, let's talk about ambience matching, and since the most common form of this is adding reverb, we'll use that as an example. Most sound effects, especially the ones that you find on stock footage sites, were created in some kind of controlled environment, which is great for getting a nice clean sound, but what happens when your scene is in a place that would typically produce a lot of reverb? That nice clean sound is going to sound out of place. To fix this, we can add reverb to our sound effects to match them to the reverb of our scene. For example, I'm currently standing in my kid's bathroom, which has a considerable amount of reverb. Now, if I were to add, say, a sound effect of me knocking on the wall, that sounds pretty bad. But if I were to add some reverb to it, that sounds a lot better. Remember earlier in this video when I said that there were a lot of places you can get high quality sound effects for your videos? Well, if you're wondering where my favorite place to get them is, it's from today's sponsor, Artlist. Artlist has a huge library of super high quality sound effects and music that you can use in your videos. In fact, it's where I get all of the music and all the sound effects for all of my videos. I absolutely love them. They have incredible search filters that make it super easy to find what I'm looking for, and they have this really cool For You page that will recommend music for you based on what you've downloaded in the past. Plus, with Artlist's unlimited license, I can use everything on their site on YouTube, social media, commercial work, and even film and television. But if you don't need all that, they also have a personal plan that will save you money and still cover you on YouTube and social. If you want to check out Artlist and get 2 months free on an annual subscription, it's super easy. Just click the link in the description of this video, sign up, and you're good to go. Thanks so much, Artlist, for sponsoring this video and for continuing to support creators like me. Now let's get back to work. Our next tip for you to keep in mind is to actually edit your sound effects, because as good as the effects from Artlist are, they don't always match your video perfectly, and doing a little EQ work can go a long way in fixing that. A common example of where this is important is in dialogue scenes. For example, sometimes when you have sound effects under dialogue, it can make it sound unclear, especially if they are meant to be loud sound effects, but turning those sound effects down just sounds unnatural. To fix this, simply drop the 1K frequency of your effect to about -12 dB in your EQ. This will cut out a lot of the frequencies that tend to conflict with the human voice. Now you can keep your sound effects at a decent volume, but you can still hear the dialogue clearly. So, you know, win-win. The next tip on our list is my personal favorite, and that's to create your own effect. And no, I'm not talking about going out with a microphone and actually creating a sound effect from scratch. What I'm talking about is layering multiple sound effects together to create a new sound. A recent example of this was in my Harry Potter teleport effect video, where I combined a simple whoosh sound effect with the sound of birds flapping their wings. I don't know about you, but I think it came out nicely. To see how I created that effect, click here, and until next time, don't forget to go out and make stuff. Thanks for watching.